know your ass better call somebody.
The energy revealed. Brooklyn to Queens, reppin' both hoods. Rob and CP, keep it fire, misunderstood. Cheer 'em all loud, let the anthem flow. Mets fans unite at the pregame show. From city stand lights to the skyline greens, it's the heartbeat of Queens, the craziest dreams. Rob hype on the mic, CP's the fire spark. Together they ignite, voices like the park fans dripped in jerseys. Legacy bold, the Metropolitan story forever told. Turnstile spinning, the crowd floods the gates. This is family, no time for debates. Crack of the Batman, the roar never fades. Queens in the blood, it's how champions are made. Cheer 'em all loud, let the anthem flow. Mets fans unite at the pregame show. From city stand lights to the skyline gleams, it's the heartbeat of Queens, the craziest dreams. 7-line swagger, vibes electric and wild. Mets legacy golden since I was a child. Orange crushed skies, let the battle ignite. Ride for the home team till the last fight.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Amazing Mets pregame show right here on our channels and on X. Unfortunately, Chris couldn't make it to the first game of the pregame, but that's okay because we got 3 more shows and he'll be on all of them. So if you're on his channel, make sure you hit that like button. If you're on my channel, of course, do the same thing as well and subscribe to both channels as well, guys. So we have a jam-packed day of Mets baseball. If you have a shitty day of weather in any state you're in, or any country you're in, and you got nothing to do on a Sunday, and you're a Mets fan, you got 2 games throughout the entire day because it is a split doubleheader. It's not a back-to-back doubleheader, which is great because obviously you would like it to be back-to-back. But again, it's a Sunday. It's a relaxed type of day before you start the work week. And it's just a good day because you got baseball from 1 o'clock all the way until 9 o'clock tonight, most likely, depending on how long the games are taking. So you got a little bit of a break in between. You're getting pre-games and post-games for both games. And you're going to see a lot of my face and Chris's face throughout the day today. So hopefully you enjoy. So once again, guys, hit on that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow me on all the social media platforms that you can find me on. Obviously, the 2 up that are on the screen right now is on X and on TikTok. I'm trying to expand the TikTok a little bit, as I've been told many times, is to start putting together a TikTok, and so I do that now. So again, I usually post lineups, I usually post updates with injuries or just statuses of the New York Mets. So follow me over there, guys, as well. So make sure you do that while you're listening to and watching the stream. So once again, guys, I know people are in the chat are saying it's telling that Mark Viento's not in the lineup. It's a doubleheader. Every guy on the 26-man roster, or at least in the doubleheader, 27-man on the roster, almost every position player is probably going to play today. So I'm not looking at Vientos not playing today. I mean, Tyrone Taylor's not playing today either. You got Acuna playing third base. You got Jeff McNeil playing second base. You know, you got Winker playing left field. You got Nimmo DHing. So I'm not shocked by the lineup. You got to expect weird things with a lineup when you got a doubleheader. Everybody's going to play. You're going to see Vientos in the next game. He's going to play third base. You're going to see probably Acuna play somewhere and McNeil play somewhere. Whoever's left on the bench, Tyrone Taylor is going to play center field. So I'm not looking too much into that. I know people were looking into that. I saw it on X, and I saw you guys in the chat. So I'm not looking too much into that. But the good news is we got 2 games. So we can go on and on about each lineup. We can go on about the pitching matchup, and obviously it's a very special day for Blade Tidwell. Obviously, one of our top pitching prospects. He is getting the opportunity to probably stay in this rotation. If the New York Mets are going to go to a 6-man rotation, Blade Tidwell could be a part of that. Now I know we got Frankie Montas and Sean Manaea still hoping to come back, whenever that may be, but Tidwell probably has an opportunity to stay in this rotation until at least one of those guys come back. Or, you know, we're not talking about an injury or anything like that. But if everybody stays healthy, Tidwell has an opportunity to stay in this rotation until one of those guys come back. And what I do like, obviously he was supposed to be pitching today. Because of the doubleheader, I was wondering when they were going to pitch him, in the first game or the second game. I love the fact that Mendoza chose him to pitch the first game. The reason why is that there's no pressure that if the Mets would have lost the first game and he pitched the second game, there isn't pressure to try to win a rubber game and try to win the series. I don't want that type of pressure on him just yet. I want him to go out there loose. I mean, he's going to be nervous, but as loose as possible and pitch his game. That's what I want. And today's the day you got to do that. And that was a great job by Mendoza putting him first because, again, it's a day game. It is on a Sunday, but it is the first game of a doubleheader. It is a split doubleheader, so they put him during the day game. I do like that, and I appreciate the fact that, and yes, Daniel, I do know that. They are 14 and 19. I do apologize for that. Again, a lot of backgrounds I had to do today, so I guarantee you the next pregame, they're going to have the right record on there, so that's my fault. Again, a lot of backgrounds, a lot of stuff going on with 4 streams today, guys, so it is a lot of work being done, and I do apologize for that, but David, Daniel, thank you. And they are 14 and 19, not 17 and 16. For some reason, I had 17 and 16 for the Diamondbacks. And when I switched the teams over, I just forgot to put the record down. But again, at least I got the Mets record right. I think that's kind of more important, but I do appreciate that. They did call up Daniel Nunez, and that's another help to this bullpen that, let's be honest, has not been great. I know Buto has looked better the last couple outings. Stanek had his last outing. That was nice. That's good news. So Nunez is activated. Great sign, great news, especially with Danny Young going to Tommy John, going to have Tommy John. He's done for the year. Minter's going to be done for the year. So everything is kind of coming to a head. A lot of our healthy guys are starting to come on this team. We're still waiting for Minaya, still waiting for Montas, but we got Daniel Nunez, who was just excellent last year, and you hope he can just continue that. And obviously, he's up here now, so hopefully the Mets feel like he's ready to go and healthy. And we'll see how they're going to use him. I doubt they're going to use him back-to-back when it comes to a game today and a game tomorrow. I doubt that. I think they're going to be very careful with him. But, our main guys, Stanek, Diaz, Buto, those guys are going to be very important. Reed Garrett. This is basically our bullpen at this point right now, without Minter. And obviously Genesis Cabrera, who is going to get the opportunity here to be the lefty in the bullpen. So he's got a prime opportunity to stay in his bullpen. The Mets don't really have much lefties to go to in the farm system for lefties in the bullpen. So Genesis Cabrera, who is very good in spring training, will get the opportunity to be the lefty in the bullpen. Unfortunately, we lost both of our lefties the first month of the season, and that's not good. And I'd like 2 lefties, but again, I'm not going to throw a lefty out there that might not have no clue what he's doing and have no opportunity to win ball games. So give us an opportunity to win. So again, Blade Tidwell is pitching the first game today, guys. So you're going to get the first-hand experience and opportunity to see Blade Tidwell, one of our top prospects. Obviously, Sproat and Tidwell are at the top of the list. We know Jonah Tong as well is also a part of that. Obviously, Tidwell popped out of the top 10, depending on what top 10 list you look at, but he did pop out of that top 10 list. And again, I don't look much into that because, again, Drew Gilbert popped out of the top 10 as well, and he's having an outstanding start of the season in the minor league. So I do think that Tidwell is a guy that, and again, people were talking about his minor league numbers. I don't care about minor league numbers when it comes to pitching almost at all. I look a little bit more at the offensive numbers, but not much. I don't like to look at that because, again, if you looked at the minor league numbers, you're just going to see Acuna not having good minor league numbers, and he's been very good for us at the major league level. So I'm not going too hard on the numbers. I know he has a 5 ERA, just like Brandon Sproat, who has an above 5 ERA, a little higher than Tidwell. I'm not going on that number. Again, there's a lot of things that go into the minor league numbers, especially with pitchers. They're working on their mechanics. They're working on certain pitches. They might throw a lot more pitches that they're working on. Like if one guy has a slider and they're trying to develop that or they're trying to make it better, what are you going to make him throw more of in the minor leagues? So it's hard to judge based on numbers at the minor league level, because if they're going to throw a slider and they want to develop that pitch and make it better, you're going to throw a lot more sliders than you do your other secondary pitches or even your fastball. So I don't like to look at numbers when it comes to pitchers too much. Again, you just never know. Yeah, Matt Harvey wasn't very good. Even Jacob deGrom was good, but he wasn't excellent like he was in the majors. Steven Matt's the same thing. A lot of guys, I don't look at the minor league numbers. We can go back on any guys you want to look at. I just don't see it as a point of emphasis of saying, well, he has a 5 ERA. You couldn't find somebody else in the minors. Well, would you rather have one of your younger pitchers, your top prospects, or some scrub that is a journeyman to pitch, in your rotation? The Mets are clearly looking at it as an opportunity for a young kid. And I do think it's a little bit telling that they chose Tidwell over Sproat. Now, obviously they have their reasons. We all know that, right? We're not there every second of every day to watch these guys. They have all the numbers. They have all the eyes on these two guys specifically. And they felt Tidwell over Sproat. Now, that could mean the pitches that Tidwell has over Sproat based on matchup of the Cardinals. We know the Mets love to look at that analytical aspect of it. Or Tidwell, they just feel like he's a little bit more ready than Sproat, which is not the end of the world. It happens. It's baseball. So I'm not going to go crazy on that either. But I do like the fact that they chose a kid. And this is all David Stearns here, by the way. Because, again, a few years ago, if it was Buck, if it was Epler, I don't feel like they would have gave these kids an opportunity to pitch. And I feel like they would have went to a journeyman type of guy. And because of Shomania and Montas not in this rotation for at least probably another month, or maybe 2, you never know, but at least a month. If Tidwell pitches well, he can stay in this rotation because the Mets are trying to go to a 6-man rotation. And just to be clear with everybody, if the Mets go to a 6-man rotation, besides Blade Tidwell and protecting his arm and his innings, because they are going to do that. So I'm not looking for a 5 or 6 inning day. I know I love to preach that from our rotation, but they're protecting his arm. Completely understand that. Now, if he's going to be in this rotation long-term this year, then eventually I want to see him get to the 5th or 6th inning just because of circumstance and because it's a necessity at that point. But right now, they're probably not going to make him throw more than 70 pitches. So hopefully he has a couple of quick innings and he can get into the 5th inning. But more often than not, let's average between 15 to 18 pitches an inning. You might get 4 innings out of him, and that's understandable. And again, you do got Nunez, who is very fresh. You got Genesis Cabrera, who is fresh as well, and Reed Garrett is fresh as well. So it's a good sign that you got those guys available because you're going to need a couple of those guys to go in this game. Obviously, it's a doubleheader, so you're going to use a lot of bullpen. You hope that McGill gives you a really long start next game, but again, he's had issues going deeper into games as well. So overall, when it comes to Blade Tidwell, this is an opportunity for him. And again, I think they chose Tidwell because they believe he might be a little bit ready, or it was just his spot in the rotation, and it wasn't Sproat's. That's the only other thing I can think of. But let's say it is Tidwell's time in the rotation to pitch. That's why he's in there over Sproat. If Tidwell doesn't pitch well, I don't think they're going to throw him to the Wolves. He's probably going to get another start or maybe 2. If he doesn't pitch well, maybe they will bring Sproat up and replace Tidwell with Sproat and give him an opportunity for a couple of starts before hopefully Manaea or Montas comes back. So that's a good thing. But we have options. And for many years, the Mets really didn't, right? These guys weren't ready a couple of years ago when we had massive injuries. We still had the Tyler McGills of the world. We still had, journeymans like Jose Quintana, that were filling roles as well. So it's not just about our top prospect that we need to look into and see, because it is important. We got to see what they have. And the minor league numbers are useless, in my opinion. I think it's more about, obviously minor leagues are supposed to be instructional. And we all know that. It's an instructional league. So they're always going to be working on pitches, and that's why I don't like to look at their numbers at all. Jay, no, because he is activated, so he is available. They activated him. So And they also took Danny Young on the 68. So they had to move some guys around the 40 man, but he's available and he's activated. If he's activated, he should be available for both games, not just one. I just saw it on my phone. So when I was looking at it right before I came live. So again, Jay, you could be right, but if he's activated, he should be activated for both games. I don't see why he would be activated for one game and not the other, only because you can carry 27 guys on your roster in a doubleheader. So, and Ethan, I do agree, it is a good problem to have. I mean, we've had, it's the same thing with the position players, right? Next man up. We brought up Acuna. We brought up Vientos. Obviously Beatty got an opportunity, so they're bringing guys up to fill, but they're younger players, right? It's not. I know we all love Candelita and all that stuff, and it was fun, but again, he wasn't the future. And if he was here, you might have not seen Acuna at all. So at the end of the day, I'd rather them go with the young guys. I'm not expecting length from these guys, but again, you're a top prospect. I want to see some semblance of a dominant pitcher. You are a top prospect. You have great stuff, just like Sproat, just like Jonah Tong is starting to move up the ladder a little bit of top prospects. The same thing like Christian Scott, same thing. I want to see domination. I want to see confidence on the mound, because these are the guys. Because again, just look at our rotation. How many guys in this rotation are going to be in our rotation for the next 3 years? Maybe Sean Manaea, most likely Sean Manaea. But other than that, in 3 years from now, you're hoping Jonah Tong, you're hoping Christian Scott and Tidwell and Sproat are guys that are rotation guys. Now, not all of them. I mean, it would be great if you have all of them that be like top line starters. But let's say one of them are, and the other ones are, number 2s and number 3s, or even 4s for that matter. You got most of your rotation ready to go. Thank you, D-Max. So, yes, Nunez is available for game 2 per Michael Puma. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate that. So I see what they're doing. Okay, I get what you're saying. Correct. So they're probably going to send Tidwell down because, again, he's not going to be available for 5 days anyway if they're going to go to a 6-man rotation. So to have that roster spot available for Nunez makes sense. So I do. And Austin Warren is the 27th man. Thank you. That's right. I did see that quickly. I saw activated, but again, I didn't read the whole caption. That's on me. That's good job by you guys, D-Mac and Jay. I appreciate that as well. And again, Phil, 100%. They are our future. And again, nobody really knows what these guys are going to be, right? We know they got good stuff. If they wouldn't be top pitching prospects if they didn't have great stuff. We all know they have good stuff, but can they harness it? Can they build on that? Can they be major league pitchers? We don't know that. We've seen a little bit of Christian Scott before he got hurt. We've seen good. We've seen bad. Can he be good? Sure. We see what he can do on the mound, but can that consistency be there? Again, if you're not consistent, you're probably a fringe major league starter or not a major league starter. So we don't really know. We don't really know until we actually see it on a consistent basis. Tidwell has the opportunity to show something here, right? I'm expecting a guy who's a top pitching prospect that all we've heard, many Met fans don't want to trade these guys. So guess what? Do your job, right? I don't care if you're 20 years old, 22 years old, you're in the show, right? Why does it always seem like the Mets get the short end of the stick? And when these guys come up, we don't have no expectations saying, well, let's see what he got. No. Yeah, we want to see what he got. But you're a top pitching prospect. Show it on the mound. Show that confidence. Show that you belong. That's what I want to see from a guy like Blade Tidwell. The same way where I feel like Christian Scott is going to be a good major league starter. Now, I don't believe he's going to be a top line starter. I think he's probably going to be a very solid number 3, which is perfectly fine. You always need those type of pitchers. You need a middle of the rotation type guys. I think Christian Scott is going to be a number 3. Now, Sproat, on the other hand, is expected to be a top line ace. Tidwell can be a top line starter, but there's projections where he's probably going to be a solid number 2, possibly a number 3. So again, who knows? Jonah Tong could be the best of all of them. And he's projected to be a 3-4 starter. So, and Joel, this is what Stern is hoping for. Now, again, it can blow up in his face because he's not spending the money on Max Fried, who is the best pitcher in baseball as of right now. Now, will that last 2-3 years from now? Who the hell knows? Or 6 years from now? Who knows? Corbin Burns, we've seen him win his first game against the New York Mets this year. Hasn't been good, but again, even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he still gives you length. And I know that a lot of people don't care about that, but when you hear the Mets talk about it, when you hear the broadcast talks about it, and when you hear reporters talk about it, it is a consistent issue with the New York Mets. I know baseball is not all about length of starters anymore, but it's glaring when there's been seven starts from Clay Holmes, and he just hit over the 40 inning mark. That is not good. Just do the math. It's not good. It's barely 5 innings, maybe. So I think and this is Stearns' plan, is that, again, are all 4 of these guys in Scott, Tidwell, Sproat, and Tong are going to be a part of this rotation going forward? Who knows? Who knows? But you're hoping 2 of them are stay proof, and they stay in this rotation at some point when they get the chance to do that. At least 2 of these guys need to be a part of this rotation. Now, are they number 1s, number 2s, 3s, or 4s, or even 5s? 2 of these guys need to be a part of this rotation going forward. There needs to be confidence in the organization that these guys are going to be in the rotation probably next year, if not 1 or 2 this year. Like that is the hope, because you can't hope for all 4. You just can't. Like, I think that's unrealistic. I know we had that Syndergaard, Harvey, Matz, and Wheeler and all that fun stuff, but that blew up in our faces within 2 years because of injuries, because of lack of consistency, and, a lot of late nights. And I'm talking about Matt Harvey. So it blew up in our faces rather quickly. So I really want to see these guys who are projected top line starters, and Tidwell and Sproat, make no mistake about it, right? They're going to get their time. They're going to get their opportunities. They're going to get a little bit of a longer leash. But at some point, we need to see that these guys look like a major league starter, if not a top 2 starter at the very least. Because I don't want guys that are, barely staying in the major leagues. Like, again, they all got good stuff. But we've seen guys that throw 99, 100, got a nasty curveball, but they never are staying in the rotation. Or they're not even a major leaguer because they can't get their location down. They walk a lot of people. They're wild, all that stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it. But I do want to see the confidence of a guy that's projected to be a top line starter. Because again, yeah, they might be number 3s and number 4s, but you still got a gaping hole in this rotation. And as much as everybody loves Manaea, just like me, there's no guarantee he's going to come back from injury, by the way, and pitch like he did last year or close to that. There's no guarantee. When last year was one of your best years of your career, and right after that, once you change your mechanics, once you have a little bit more higher velocity, you get injured right after that year, that worries me. So I don't look at Manaea as a piece to help this team until he can consistently do it once he comes back. And he has to also pitch very well. Like, that's another thing. So that is all in a nutshell. But right now, today is all about Blade Tidwell. Game 1, and again, I do like Mendoza pitching him in game 1 with no added pressure of trying to win a series if you lose game 1, and then Tidwell pitches the nightcap of the doubleheader. I love the fact that they pitched him in game 1, because all the pressure is that you're on the mound, it's your first start in Major League Baseball. That's it. And it's a day game on a Sunday. So Tidwell does those about 97, 98. He's got it up to 100 from time to time, but he lives on that 97, 98 plateau. And that's fine. Again, that's more than enough. You don't need 104 miles an hour, 102. If you throw between 96 to 98, you're going to be okay. You just got to use your secondary pitches well. You got to, spot your fastball and locate your other pitches. You got to make sure you use all of them. And most of the time, you want to set up your fastball. You use your fastball to set up your other secondary pitches. So we're going to see. We are going to see. But it is always good to have one of your top prospects come up, especially pitching prospects, because, position players, a lot of the times, they get that hype, and you kind of have an idea with their aura, with their confidence, with their approach at the plate, playing the field. Like Alvarez, he has that confidence, right? He has that swag. Same thing like Mark Vientos coming up last year, taking Brett Brady's spot. He has that swag. Same thing with Acuna, right? He portrays himself as a major leaguer, right? It didn't look good early on, but he's gotten better. So I want to see that confidence. Christian Scott has that demeanor on the mound where he believes he's going to be a major league starter. Right? In their own heads, they all believe they can be aces. But that's what I want to see from Blade Tillwell today. Again, not expecting length. Probably he's not going to go more than 70 pitches. I think the most he's thrown in the minors, I think it's close to 80. So we're not expecting length from him. And I'm not even going to bring that up as a talking point if they take him out in the 4th inning, or he has a long inning and he only goes 3 innings. The Mets are expecting. They already got. Is it going to be Yoasker Brazaban? Is it going to be Buto? Is it going to be somebody that's going to replace him to pitch multiple innings? That's going to be the point. So Hamill hasn't got called up. Did he get called up? He might have maybe a year or two ago when he was a top 10 prospect, but he's fallen off a little bit. But he has been good in the minors. So again, that's another guy that is in our top 20. So overall, it's a Blade Tillwell type of day. It's always great to see one of our prospects come up and do the job. And that's the most important thing right now. So I know a lot of people were talking about Mark Vientos not being in the lineup in game 1. It's a doubleheader, guys. Don't look too much into it. Honestly, I think it's a good call by Mendoza. He's been struggling, swinging at every ball outside the strike zone. Hasn't looked good at the plate. So why not just make him sit in the first game? He's going to play the second game anyway. So I think that's a good job. You had the off day because of the rain yesterday. Everybody's rested, so everybody's available. And today you give him a mental game day off for the first game. I think that's important than just an off day, a team off day. A mental off day when there's a game is so much better to players than an off day because it's on the schedule. I think that's important. So being that Vientos is not playing the first game, I don't think you got to look too much into it. But I think Mendoza probably thought, listen, I'd rather not play him the first game. He had a day off yesterday. Rest him, let him relax. Come in today, just get ready for game 2, but relax during game 1. Get that mental break that so many guys need, but are not talked about through the organization or the player itself because they don't want to throw that out there that a guy might be a little bit mentally off baseball-wise. So I think it's a good job by Mendoza. One, pitching Tidwell in the first game of the doubleheader, not the second game, because no needed added pressure on Tidwell to win a series if we happen to lose game 1. So the pressure is on him because of his first major league start, because all eyes from our New York Mets are going to be on him, right? He is one of our projected starters, hopefully this year, definitely next year. So it is a great sign. It is nice to see. Hopefully Tidwell does what he needs to do. But the two things I want to see from him is the confidence on the mound. And you really want to see firsthand the stuff that he has and how he portrays that stuff, how he has those pitches on the major league level. Like, does it look good on TV? Does it look hard to hit with major league batters? That is something that's always fun to see, right? The Cardinals never seen this guy. I mean, maybe once or twice in the minors during spring training, but not much. So it's going to be an adjustment period, but I want to see him. I want to see location. I want to see what his breaking and off-speed pitches do. I want to see what he has a handle of. And we'll see if he pitches well. If he doesn't, you're not throwing him to the Wolves. It's his first start. But I want to see that confidence. I want to see that top prospect, top line starter confidence on the mound. Christian Scott showed that personality-wise. Now, his stuff was good, but he had his moments. I want to see Tidwell see what he portrays himself on the mound. Because if you're a top prospect, especially a top pitching prospect, I want to see that confidence spilling out of you on the mound. And McGill is pitching game 2, Brad. So we got McGill pitching in game 2. So we got 145 in the chat right now, guys, in the stream right now. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to both channels. It is streaming on Chris's channel, even though he's not here. Again, no need to take it off his channel because there's only one guy here, right? We put this together. We worked hard on these streams, background, thumbnails, all that fun stuff. So it's a lot of work going into the 4 streams today, guys. You're going to see a lot of us today. Chris will be on the 3 other streams, the post game, this game, pregame and post for game 2. So we got a lot going on today, guys. So good news is that you get a lot of us and you get a lot of Mets baseball, which is always a lot of fun. So again, a lot of people in the chat today. I looked at, guys. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people saying it's bad weather where they are, so they ain't really doing nothing outside. And it's a Sunday with 2 games, 2 Mets baseball games. What is better than 1 baseball game? 2 baseball games. And oh, by the way, it's 2 Met games. And you don't have to worry about the Knicks if you're a Knicks fan or if you're an NBA fan of another team that's in the playoffs. Or at least a Knicks fan for that matter, because they play tomorrow against the Boston Celtics. So you get to relax, maybe a beer, maybe some lunch, maybe some water, whatever you want to drink, shot, whatever you want. But you get to watch 2 Met games, and it's great. I love split double headers because you can do something in between that, even though we'll be doing shows, but you can do something in between that. You know, maybe go for an errand, maybe just, you know, take a walk outside if you want to, whatever you got to do. And then go back to the game for the nightcap. So good news is 2 Met games, 4 shows, 2 pre-games, 2 post-games. We got our top prospect pitching in one of those games, obviously game 1. And we got a lineup that I'll talk about in a second that is a doubleheader type of lineup. You got no Tyrone Taylor. You got no Swaggy V and Mark Vientos. You got Acuna playing third base, McNeil playing second base. You got Nimmo DH, and it's a doubleheader type of lineup. Doubleheader type of day. So everybody's going to get their opportunity. It's just in game 1, this is the matchup they want to go with their lineup. And again, Azakar is a backup. Acuna is not really a third baseman, mostly a second baseman. McNeil's playing second. You got DH of Nimmo, which I do like. And you got the top 3 guys in the lineup in Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. Lindor is hitting. Soto is hitting. Alonso is hitting. Nimmo is kind of hitting. Hopefully he keeps that up. You got Jesse Winker playing left field, which I don't like, but I understand taking Nimmo out of left field because you got to keep him healthy. You got Terrence behind the plate. You obviously know Alvarez will be pitching, catching in game 2. I was interested, though, because I thought they were going to catch Alvarez with Tidwell because, again, Alvarez was in the minors not too long ago. He's catch Tidwell before, so I thought that combination would be beneficial, but Terrence is a great catcher. I don't think there's going to be much of a problem at all. But you got Terrence, which, again, he's a starting catcher in Major League Baseball. We just have 2 starting catchers that are on our team, and good for us. So what is awesome about this, Jose Azocar deserves at-bats. He's played well since he's come up, defensively and with the bat. I do like that he has speed as well, so I do like Acuna and Azocar 8-9 with that tremendous amount of speed, because what do you want at the bottom of the order if you don't have, you know, outstanding top line hitters, which most people don't? You want to have speed at the lineup because a ground ball, they could beat out. You want to turn over that lineup. Acuna and Azocar are deadly 8 and 9 with their speed, and it's going to be a lot to see with those 2 guys batting 8th or 9th today. So once again, guys, I want you to enjoy the game. I will see you with Chris on the post-game show for only game 1. And obviously, we're not going to get too much into game 2 because we have a pregame for that as well. So Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, Winker, Terrence, McNeil, Acuna, and Azocar is your lineup for game 1 with top pitching prospect Blade Tidwell on the mound for game 1 against Eric Fetty, the veteran right-hander, on the mound against the Mets for St. Louis. I'll see you after the game, guys, along with Chris for the post game. Enjoy the game, guys. Let's go Mets, and good luck to Blade Tidwell today, a top pitching prospect. Here we go, guys. Let's go Mets, and I'll see you later on the post game show, guys. See you later.
Seven train rumble, headed to the field. Orange and blue vibes, the energy revealed. Brooklyn to Queens, repping both hoods. Rob and CP, keep it fire misunderstood. Hear them all loud, let the anthem flow. Mets fans unite at the pregame show. From city sand lights to the skyline greens, it's the heartbeat of Queens, the craziest dreams. Rob hype